Hello my nerdlings! If you're new here, my name is Nikki and welcome to my channel where we get nerdy. Today I am doing my March TBR, which I have some books that I definitely want to get on for my 2022 challenge, but also for some readathons that I'm going to be participating in. Alright, so with that said, Debrinko is officially dead. I know.
Yeah,
it's a sad day.
And it's like...
So today I designed a board game based off from the Witchlands, my probably favorite series ever, at which I'll explain the rules and such once it's more in front of you. Boils down to different colored circles. Each circle represents a different pile of cards. The pile of cards has prompts based off from the characters or locations in the world or types of witchery. Pretty simple. We roll to get through. Once we're all the way through, we win. It's pretty simple. There's going to the prompts. I'm not going to show them as I roll them. I'm going to set them to the side and then look at them all at once after. And once we do that, then we pick books. I have decided I'm going to let myself double up because there are 42 spaces on this board. So if I have a ton of small rolls, it's going to be a lot of books. So I'm allowing myself doubling up. With that being said, let's play the game. Alright, so this is the new game. And I'm hoping you can see it fairly well. So each one of the circles represents a different type of witch in the Witchlands. Gray is aether, light blue is air, green is earth, purple is void, dark blue is water, and red is fire. And then we have our different origin wells. We have our start and our finish. Pretty simple. My little token, if I can find my, there we go, is Janna from League of Legends. She is technically a wind witch. I have my 2 dice. And I think what I figured out for rules right now is that we're just going to roll until we get to the finish, draw prompts as we go, but not read the prompts. We're going to look at them all at once at the end and then pick books that fit them. I can double up the prompts, even triple them up if I want to. So that's the gist of it. I don't know. We'll find out if it works. So, let's see how this goes. So, I don't think you can see that. Maybe you can. That's a 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. An air prompt. I'm just going to grab it, set it aside. Not even going to look at it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oops, that was a fire prompt. Gonna grab it if my fingers will let me. Set it aside. 6 and 2 is 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. An origin well. This is not going too bad so far. Another 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Another air prompt. 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Really? Are we going to just get all the airs? Apparently. And another air prompt. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. and one more origin well. All right. So let's find out our prompts and what books we're going to pick. All right. I have our prompts in hand, and let's find out what they are. The first one that we had was an air prompt, and it is Stormhound, read a book with a dog on the cover. All right. Next, we have Heartthread, read a romance. Next, we have Origin Wells, which Origin Wells is honestly a hodgepodge of everything. So we have Cleaved, read a book with a black cover. Next is another air, which we have Cullen, read a book featuring a hurricane. I don't know if I have a book featuring a hurricane, now that I think of it. Next we have Merrick Nihar, read a book with a position of power, meaning a book with royalty, a president, that type of thing. And lastly, we have Rianne, which is an Origin Wells book one, and it's read a book chosen by Ree, which Ree is one of my best friends. I think she's at work, so I won't be able to call her, but I'll pick a book she bought me, because technically it was chosen by her. That will make sense. So, give me a moment to search my stuff, and I'll be right back. Okay. Alright, I'm back. So much for wanting to double up books, because I wasn't able to double them up at all. Like, I technically could double up that book and that book, but I need to read that book anyways for magical readathon. So the first one we drew was the Stormhound. This is what I get for putting them out of order. So we're going to read Vicious Spirits by Cat Cho. There is I think it's technically a fox on the cover, so we're going to count this as a dog, because same family. This is the second book in the Wicked Fox duology. It's following Gumi Young, Ji-hoon, and So-min, and then Juno, who's a dokebi. Mi-young is a gumiho. It's Korean mythology, just all wrapped up in one. So, this is our Stormhound prompt. Next was the romance, was the Heartthread. Read a romance. So I picked Bride of the Water God. This is a manhwa. So in Japan, they're called mangas. In Korea, they're manhwa. And upside to being able to fit this on my TBR was I'm going to be reading this for Koreathon. Yes. Which it's basically a week-long readathon about celebrating Korean culture, that type of thing. Which, this one, I believe also will fit a prompt. So, I've got 2 books for that week. So, when Soha's impoverished, desperate village decides to sacrifice her to the water god Habek to end a long drought, they believe that drowning one beautiful girl will save their entire community and bring much needed rain. Not only is Soha surprised to be rescued by the water god instead of killed, She never imagined she'd be a welcomed guest in Habek's, because it's Baekhyun, so Habek's magical kingdom, where an exciting new life awaits her. Ooh. So, there is our heart thread. I think Cleaved was next, which Cleaved is a black cover. So we have The Strange Case of the Alchemist's Daughter by Theodora Goss. This is Mary Jekyll, alone and penniless following her parents' death, quickly finds herself drawn into the secrets of her father's mysterious past. Dun dun dun. So, it's an adult fantasy. It's the first book in, I think, a trilogy, maybe a quartet, not quite sure. So, and we needed to get this on the TBR for a magical readathon for my conduit, where my character flows their magic through, and that is, my choice was a staff, so I need to read a book in a series. Ta-da! So this is this lovely book. I'm excited. I know Leanne from Literary Diversions absolutely loves this series, and I trust her taste in books. So, let's see how this goes. I want to say next was Cullen. So, Cullen, read a book featuring a hurricane. I'm going to hurricane/storm, just because I can. And I'm going to read Truthwitch by Susan Dennard. I've been meaning to reread this ever since I read Witch Shadow, because I know that I missed a bunch of stuff the first time I read through it. And now I want to go back and annotate it and make it sink in what I'm missing. And at one point, there's a storm in here. So we're going to count that. And it helps that Cullen is actually in this book too. So it's fitting. I remember the Rianne prompt was the last one. So next we are going to do Merrick Nihar, which is read a book with a position of power. I think this technically fits. We're going to read Eleanor by David Michaels. She's a former First Lady, which she technically had a position of power. So, I'm counting it. It's probably a bit of a stretch, but I'm still counting it. I have a feeling her and Merrick Nihar would get along anyways, because they're very much people for their people, like would do whatever they needed to for their constituents. So I have a feeling they would get along. Lastly, I picked a book chosen by Ree, that she technically didn't buy me this book. She bought me the second book in the series, but she didn't realize it was a second book in a series. So I went out and bought the first. I can't read the second book without reading the first. And also, this happens to be one of my goals for this year, and that is to start reading Renee Ahdieh. So we're going to read The Beautiful, which this is totally a book Ree would have picked up if she had known, if it was the first. I know her way too well, and Ree would have picked this up for me. So we are in 1872. New Orleans is a city ruled by the dead. But to 17-year-old Celine Rousseau, New Orleans is a safe haven after she's forced to flee her life as a dressmaker in Paris. Taken in by the sisters of the Ursuline convent in the middle of the carnival season, Celine is quickly enraptured by the vibrant city, from the music and its fantasy soirees, and even its danger. She becomes embroiled in the city's glitzy underworld known as Le Coeur des Lions, after catching the eye of the group's enigmatic leader, Sebastian Saint Germain. So, it is blurbed on the front. Vampires are back and they're more seductive than ever. Ooh. So, that's the last book on our TBR. That's a chunky TBR. It's the chunkiest TBR we've had yet this year. We're gonna see if we can do it. May the odds be in my favor, I guess. So, remember, until next time, you are loved and you are valid.